glad that you came out, and I understand that you're interested in hearing my point of view about some of the issues that we have on end-of-life care and why end-of-life care is an important part of nursing home care. A lot of people don't realize that nursing homes are where much of end-of-life care is being done in the United States right now. At least 1 out of 5 people in the United States die in a nursing home right now. And nursing homes are really not set up to handle people at the end of life under the current regulatory structures. That's a big problem. Nursing homes are the most regulated industry in the United States right now, nuclear power being the second most regulated industry, to put it in perspective. And yet the regulations state very clearly that the purpose of a nursing home is to maintain or improve function. The question is then, how are you supposed to die in a nursing home if you're trying to maintain or improve function? I've had aides come up to me with tears in their eyes and say, why do we have to walk Mrs. So-and-so 2 days before she died? We knew she was dying. The doctors knew she was dying. Family knew she was dying. I mean, the janitor knows this person's dying. We have to get this person up and walk her in the hall 2 days before she's dying? I mean, what kind of sense is that? And it's the regulations are that you have to maintain or improve function. That's what nursing homes are about right now. It used to be the nursing homes were warehouses for death. That was the title of a very famous book about Canadian nursing facilities. And people were just warehoused in them. Well, nursing homes have changed a lot. They're now a large industry which is dedicated towards rehabilitation. I mean, that's why you move somebody from the hospital over to the nursing home, we'll get you rehabilitated, then we'll get you home and you'll do fine. But the fact of the matter is, 1 out of 3 people admitted to a nursing home are going to die within a year. And we ought to be a lot more rational about how we deal with that. We need to actually look at what it is that these people need near the end of their life. That's part of the solution that we need to have, is we need to be able to rationally and reasonably deal with the issues of anticipatory grief, provide people with self-determined life closure, with safe and effective modalities for making them comfortable at the time of their death, and then for effective grieving. Those are the ideals of the hospice organization. I think those should be adapted to a large degree by the nursing home industry. The task really is to formulate a way of making this actually happen in nursing facilities. There are several large national organizations interested in doing this right now with variable degrees of success. The National Hospice Organization, now called the National Hospice and Palliative Care Organization, has been working for many years, decades actually, on this whole issue of how to improve end-of-life care in nursing facilities. Yet hospice is available really only for about 5% of the people who die in nursing facilities. The other 95% don't get the hospice. The Medicare really is charged with enforcing the law, which is maintain or improve function. They realize that end-of-life care is an issue, but they haven't really figured out how to deal with it yet. The quality improvement organizations, the QIOs they're called in the industry, have devised a task force or a project to work on improving quality of care in nursing facilities. And these QIOs are now releasing report cards that you can see in the newspaper, on TV, about the quality of various nursing homes. And one of their indicators is pain management. Well, pain management is very important at the end of life. It's not to be underestimated, but it's not the totality of end-of-life care by a long shot. There are a lot of other factors that have to be addressed when you're dealing with end-of-life care in nursing facilities. Finally, the American Medical Directors Association, which is a group of over 9,000 physicians who are medical directors of long-term care facilities and who are having increasing influence in the nursing home industry, have been looking at end-of-life care and saying, we need to do a lot better here, and they formed a task force. This is the #1 priority for the president of the American Medical Directors Association, who said that we need to improve end-of-life care. And we're working on that with educational programs for physicians so that physicians finally learn how to care for people at the end of life, something that has not been taught in medical schools, and most of the doctors really don't know. The issue that you bring up about facing death and what do we do when we face death, it's something that, first of all, in our culture, we don't understand, really. We've lost this. It used to be in houses that you'd have a front parlor, and I think most people don't even know what the front parlor is for, but it used to be the place where you'd lay out the body. I mean, that was right there, built into your house, right into your home. A place for in the front of the farmhouse where you could put the person who died so that the neighbors could come over and they could see the person before they were buried and pay their last respects. That was actually built into the house. A couple hundred years ago, the very worst way to die, the very worst, bar none, was suddenly. Now you ask people now how they want to die, they go, oh well, one moment I want to be there, the next moment, boom, I want to be gone. You know, it really is about living at the end of life. I talk with students and they have really no experience. They've got no framework for which to look at the whole issue of end-of-life care because they just haven't experienced it before. They don't know that the front parlor is where you laid out the dead bodies in the house. You know, that's kind of a shock to them. And their idea is, oh, you know, if I'm going to die, I want to die quickly. I want to be there one moment, and the next moment I'm gone. And it's really because they haven't seen the process before. They're ignorant, really, of what the process is. And yet these doctors have to learn, because who do we look for guidance? Patients come and say, well, I've never died before, you know, how am I supposed to do this? And, you know, they look to their doctor, and the doctor is supposed to say, well, this is how you do it, right? Or this at least is some general guidance about, you know, what we can anticipate, and these are some things that you might want to attend to. There's a lot of growth that takes place. Ira Byock has a whole book on this subject about growth at the end of life, and it's really true. I see so much growth in families and in patients in that 6 months before the end of their life to the time of death, and then in the families afterwards, in that 6 months afterwards, there's a maturing process that takes place where they start dealing with some of these issues that really, really need to be dealt with about matters of life and death, about what is really, truly important in life. Well, you know, it's really like the rest of medicine, but it's a lot of work. And it is. It's really just a lot of work. People need a lot of extra attention near the end of life to help them through this process. And yet it can be an extremely rewarding process, and it really helps for that person to come to some closure, to come to some sense of what their life was about, what was the meaning of their life. And that's so important for us to learn again about the value of the human life, about the value of the individual person.